In 2017, Emmanuel Macron, newly elected as the President of France, embarked on a bold mission to rejuvenate France's economy and influence within Europe. His strategy was simple. Restore France's financial credibility by tackling its chronic budget deficits, and in return persuade Germany to be more flexible on key French proposals, including joint borrowing within the EU. Initially, this plan showed promise. By 2018 and 2019, France had trimmed its annual deficit to below the EU's 3% of GDP threshold. Macron's vision seemed to be on track. Then came 2020, and the COVID-19 pandemic hit. In response, the EU agreed to issue joint bonds, a significant win for Macron's policy goals. Fast forward to 2024, and the picture looks much bleaker. After snap legislative elections in July resulted in a hung parliament, Michel Barnier, the new Conservative Prime Minister, is grappling with a minority government. This government's survival depends on the tacit support of Marine Le Pen's hard-right party. France now faces a severe fiscal crisis, with Barnier warning that the mounting deficit and debt are like a sword of Damocles hanging over the country. The numbers tell a grim story. In 2024, the deficit is projected to exceed 6% of GDP, far above the 5.1% forecast, and it's expected to hover around 5% until 2025. Government debt might reach 115% of GDP by the end of 2025. To address this, Barnier is preparing a significant fiscal tightening in the 2025 budget, aiming to save 60 billion euros, roughly 2% of GDP. The plan includes a mix of spending cuts and tax increases. Two-thirds of these savings will come from cutting public spending, including a 6-month delay in raising public pensions in line with inflation, cuts across government departments, and reductions in local government budgets and business subsidies. On the revenue side, new taxes will target large corporations and wealthy households. A temporary super tax on firms with over 1 billion euros in revenue is expected to raise 8 billion euros, while households earning more than 500,000 euros will contribute between 2 billion euros and 3 billion euros. France's fiscal challenges are being closely monitored by its neighbors, especially Germany. Christian Lindner, Germany's finance minister, has stressed the importance of credibility in public finances, hinting at France's growing debt burden. Investor sentiment reflects this concern, with the yield on French government bonds exceeding Spain's for the first time since 2008, a signal that France is seen as increasingly risky. The origins of France's current fiscal troubles trace back to its response to the COVID-19 pandemic and the economic fallout from Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Macron had pledged to protect the French economy whatever it costs, leading to extensive public spending. Small businesses were propped up and energy price caps were implemented to shield households from inflation. France spent a larger share of its GDP on such measures compared to Germany or Spain. Yet this left the country with a heavy fiscal burden. The Bank of France estimates that the cost of household support measures alone amounted to 69 billion euros between 2022 and 2023. Barnier's task of implementing drastic budget cuts is further complicated by his government's fragile position. The left-wing opposition will likely resist any austerity measures, while Barnier must rely on Le Pen's far-right party to pass the budget through Parliament, which must approve it by December. France is under pressure from both the European Commission and credit rating agencies to demonstrate its commitment to restoring fiscal discipline. The European Commission has placed France under formal watch, and France needs the Commission's permission to delay compliance with EU fiscal rules until 2029. Meanwhile, 3 credit rating agencies are set to report on France's creditworthiness soon, adding further scrutiny. Amid these domestic challenges, Macron's ability to influence European policy is under threat. Though he continues to advocate for greater European strategic autonomy and joint borrowing, his credibility is undermined by France's financial struggles. It's tough to push for more EU debt when your own country's finances are in disarray. While Macron remains a key thinker on Europe's future, his ability to act is increasingly constrained by France's economic woes.